All right. My name is Moon the Storyteller. Some of you know me by Carla. Some of you know me by Moon. And I'm here with another episode of Comic Book Marketing Podcast. I'm here with Amit, who is a comic book creator himself. Amit, just talk directly into the mic. Bring it up a little. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, all right.
Tell me.
I'm getting the hang of it.
Yeah, tell us about yourself. How did you get into comics? And then your latest projects through your self-publishing as well as through Mad Cave.
Okay, so my name is Amit Tishler. I'm right now, one of the many things that I do is comic book writing. In general, I'm a creative director, animator. I've been working in entertainment for over 15 years. And we're talking games, animation, now comic books and publishing in general. I started my career originally as a 2D artist. I was a 2D animator for TV for many years. So comics for, I think most of the animators that I know that came from a 2D background, you kind of all started from comics. And some of us end up going back to it. Basically, like in about 2021, I was always writing as part of a side job. And I was always looking to get my own stories and my own IPs out there. And for the longest time, what I did was pitch and get TV shows up. Like that was kind of the world that I was in.
Awesome.
And afterwards, the comic book market has shifted significantly. And there were a lot of openings that at that point I thought were worth pursuing. So in 2021, I was in a pretty good position to just start going after it. And it was honestly a really lucky break because the timing was really good. And I ended up within the first year kicking off 4 different publishing deals. 2 of them were with Mad Caves, 2 more with Humanoids Publishing.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that was the beginning, right? Once we started working on these titles, both me and my writing partner, Elliot Searle, once we started working on these titles, we started planning out our next move. So we started focusing more on, okay, now that we have these titles coming out, how do we sell the next one? What else do we need to develop? How do we start adapting them to other mediums? Because that's such a big part of my career, working in a lot of different mediums. And we've seen, especially with some of our recent attempts with Last Wardens, a lot of success in that space specifically. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of background.
Yeah, that is extensive. You said you've been in this for 15 years?
Yeah, in entertainment.
Yeah, that is. So you have a lot of working knowledge, a lot of practical knowledge. And so I would, because of your heritage, I would consider you a creative of color. I'm not sure if you consider yourself that, but you are. You're not the typical Anglo creator. You have a Middle Eastern background. So for those, especially comic book creators of color, what's the number one piece of advice you have to not only stay true to your voice, because I'm sure you've been incorporated some aspects of your culture and your work, but what is the number one piece of advice for by creators?
I don't know if I'm the authority to talk about that, but I did. I'm an immigrant. English is not my first language, and it's a weird and loaded question because I think I was always very influenced by American culture, and that certainly made some of my transition here, eased up on it. I think, and again, this is personal philosophy. In the end, I think for any creator to be authentic and truly passionate and into what they're doing, write the kinds of stories that you want to tell. If you feel like telling a story that is related to your origins or your, ethnicity or to your culture, if that's a big thing that interests you, feel that this is an important thing to talk about, then absolutely pursue that. But don't feel bogged down by it. Feel like you have to do it. Do it passionately. Don't
That's a good tip. That is a good tip. Yeah, not forcing it. And so tell us a little bit about before we get into your projects and how we can support you, you mentioned something that you pitched to some publishers. So I think Mad Cave is probably one of the bigger indie imprints.
Yeah.
So what piece of advice would you give a creator who wants to pitch to one of the larger indie creators, or maybe even the big two?
So come prepared. Honestly, I think two things that I would advise. One is networking is key. Meeting the people, having direct conversations. A big part of coming to these conventions isn't just to meet up with, fans or anybody that reads your books or just selling. It's actually to meet the people making them, because networking is maybe 50% of what's going to get you into any industry, especially in creative industry. So I think networking, absolutely key. The other thing is to really do your research. Like when you're targeting a specific publisher, look at their catalog. Like if you're doing a specific kind of title, or you're doing a fantasy title, sci-fi title, you're trying to do a graphic novel, each publisher has very, very specific formats that they pursue or genres that are more successful for them. Like try to see if the thing that you're about to pitch to them fits their catalog. Because don't assume that, just because of how good it is, they'll just go, you know what, we're going to throw our entire, business model and agenda out the window. This is the next big thing. Not saying that that's impossible, but, it's a game of odds in the end of the day.
Right.
So doing your research, knowing about the work that they did and adapting to it or fitting it. So you go like, I'm doing a sci-fi title. This feels like a really good home for it because you guys are known for this famous sci-fi title, and I'm a big fan of this title of yours, and I have something that is, complementary to it. You have to do a little bit of research, and that also applies to doing a research on their formats. Do they only do graphic novels like Humanoids or paper cuts? Do they do only, single issues? Like when you pitch it to them knowing that you've actually done that research is crucial, and it's also, it's good for your own time. Like you don't want to waste your time or then their time on something that just isn't a good fit.
Excellent advice. And that's all about marketing yourself as well, because even if that conversation doesn't lead to what you expect, they will remember that you came prepared and they might recommend you for something down the road.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time. Are you about to sign some books?
Not right now, but tomorrow, yes. Tomorrow at 11, I have a group signing here for LA Strong.
Okay.
My two titles, if you're interested with Mad Cave, are Eden Frost, which does have actually a connection to my ethnic background, and The Last Wardens that I co-created with Elliot Sperl. That one is very interesting to read right now because it's also associated with a lot of other cross-media deals. We got an audio drama that we wrote that has Felicia Day and Anjali Bhimani and a whole bunch of other celebrities attached to it. And we have a soundtrack that was announced today, literally like 2 hours ago.
Awesome.
That's going to be distributed by like Warner Music. And it has a tabletop RPG by Studio Far Horizons that also hit shelves and is going to get distributed by Simon & Schuster early next year as well. So it's going to hit more stores. So it's a whole multimedia franchise right now worth checking out.
Exactly. And I love that diversifying that income. Yes.
Thank you.
So where can we find you on social? I think everyone knows Instagram, Facebook. Where can we find you?
I'm pretty much everywhere. My name, Amit Tishler. You can find me on Threads, on Instagram, on Twitter/X. I'm Wrath of Tish. And everything else, you could probably find me on Blue Sky. On Facebook, I have a page. I try to be as communicative as possible, so feel free to approach me. And hopefully, me and Elliot do a lot of really cool social media stunts and a lot of cool social media content. So it's worth following.
Yeah, you are active on social, so I do appreciate that about you. And congratulations on all your success. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to those who listen in on the Comic Book Marketing Podcast. And I'm looking forward to supporting your work. Now, just curious for myself, is your books family friendly? Is it something my son can read?
Well, Last Word is a horror, supernatural horror. So I wouldn't say so. It's very violent. Eden Frost is an adult comic, but it talks about anti-Semitism. It is violent. Like it's not even family friendly. Okay. However, hasn't been announced yet, but next week we're releasing our first book with Paper Cuts, and that's going to be a really cute sci-fi company.
Wow.
It's going to be middle grade. It's not what you would expect from me.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Because if I'm investing my money into comics, I want it to be something that my son can enjoy. So I'm very happy to hear that. And thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you take care, okay?
Thank you so much. You too.